Hamilton, Ontario is experiencing a resurgence. After decades of decline due to industry closings and layoffs, there's now a huge influx of new businesses, restaurants, cafes, and a growing arts community.
Hamilton is being revitalized, and there's wonderful stories on that, but this is the dark side of that wonderful story, the shadow side of the consequences for folks who can't compete in a revitalized city.
As housing prices continue to escalate in Hamilton, there's less and less housing that is affordable, predominantly because numbers of rental incomes that aren't owned by the government or other agencies acted as affordable housing and don't any longer. The affordable housing crisis is actually at a peak.
Longtime resident of North Hamilton, Pastor Dwayne Klein, decided it was time for his church to get involved.
Our church specifically has gotten involved with this issue because as we read through Scripture, we see God calling us to care for others. And what does it mean to care for them? What does it mean when Isaiah 58 says that we are to provide food, that we're to provide shelter, that we're to care for those? Or you read Isaiah 1, and every word that's associated with caring for people is an action word from us to those that are more marginalized. So we already offer food bank and clothing ministry. We already offer ministries to immigrants and refugees, sheltered environments and youth drop-ins for people to come and a safe place for people to hang out and be a part of. And so then we said, what about housing? What about a place where people could actually live?
After having many conversations about the issue with Indwell, a charitable organization that builds affordable housing, a unique partnership soon developed.
We owned a piece of property. Indwell and myself toured our neighborhood, talking about various properties in the neighborhood. And Indwell said, what about the property you own? And then we began a conversation, a journey with our church about what about that property, where our church agreed that we should put housing in with our new church facility on this property on James Street in downtown Hamilton.
Once built, the multi-use facility will house both church congregation and its outreach programs right alongside 46 affordable housing units.
The beautiful thing is that in this relationship is the Christian community coming together to do something in a way that's very tangible, it's ongoing, it's relational. If we can take the same approach, if every church in our country had a housing component on their building, we wouldn't have homelessness.
So what can people do to solve this huge issue of affordable housing?
Christians have this ultimate solution in Jesus, and as we learn to die to ourselves so that others can live, we actually learn to live off less and give away more. And in living off less to give away more, we're able to share our homes with people that need housing. And so some of the solution comes from us taking people in to live with us who are in need of housing. Some of the solution comes by finding people that can afford to build housing for those that need it and encouraging them to do so, or working together with others to do so.
When I read through the scriptures, I see a Jesus who found himself on the edges of society, who went outside of the city and touched lepers that no one else wanted to touch. So I'd ask Canadians to think, who are the folks living on the fringes, on the margins in your neighborhood, in your city? Who are the ones that are the untouchables that God's calling you to go out and build relationships with? Invest in one person. Invite that person into the life of your family. Learn from that person, hear their story, hear their experience. You won't be the same.